So with Mark Gahey likely to leave Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace have been linked with Wolfsburg centre-back Maxence Lacroix. And we're back with another episode, and today we're going to be doing a profile on Maxence Lacroix and exactly what he would bring to Crystal Palace and the Premier League should he sign. We'll be looking at his strengths defensively and in possession, but we'll also be looking at weaknesses. So if you are new here, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on another episode. So where did it all begin for Lacroix? Well, he was born in France on the 6th of April 2000. This makes him 24 at the moment. After playing for 4 local teams, he joined the academy at Sochaux in 2015. On the 21st of August 2017, he signed his first professional contract before making his senior debut on the 22nd of December 2018. After impressing during his time in the senior team, he then transferred to Bundesliga team Wolfsburg on the 25th of August 2020. Since that time and this time present in 2024, he's been linked with numerous clubs and away from Wolfsburg. That's just a testament to how highly rated he is. Personally, I can see exactly why Oliver Glasner would want him at Selhurst Park, because he actually played under him at Wolfsburg. So I'm going to try and incorporate the tactics he used at Wolfsburg and how he can implement them if he brought Lacroix to Crystal Palace. Well, during Glasner's time at Wolfsburg, they played with a high intensity and they wanted to win the ball back as soon as possible. That was a specific tactical change that Glasner brought in when he came in. Showed in the numbers, because during Glasner's time at Wolfsburg, they were leading in the Bundesliga for the most successful pressures. So Glasner wanted his team to pressure opponents, but it wasn't all over the pitch. It was more about moments and trigger pressures. Now, he did it in a specific way and used Lacroix to his advantage. So when the opposition midfielders were breaking through the lines, Glasner would have his midfielders following the runners, and then having one centre-back, which was Lacroix, stepping into midfield and trying to engage and win the ball. This played to Lacroix's strengths, because he's a proactive defender and wants to engage and likes dueling with opponents. But it also helped him having Brooks alongside that was more of a conservative defender that would cover space and recover the ball. And the proactiveness and the aggression of Lacroix showed in his underlying numbers. He finished at Wolfsburg with the defender with the most tackles won, most tackles in defensive third, and most tackles in the middle third. So in essence, Lacroix is a proactive defender who likes to step out from defence and steal the ball away from the forwards, rather than standing back and trying to shepherd them back to where the play came from. So Lacroix is the type of defender that typically likes to get touch tight to opponents so he can unsettle them. This ensures that they can't turn freely or allow them to gain any separation from his challengers. In doing this impedes the opposition ability to gather any momentum or the player individual's ability to gather any momentum. He just constantly keeps the pressure on. Lacroix is extremely athletic. He's got nice, beautiful, broad width about him, and he stands at 6'4". He's deceivingly quick in acceleration, and he's extremely aggressive. So it's no surprise to see Lacroix holds his own in individual battles, use his strength and his aggression to outmuscle defenders and jostle them off the ball. He's extremely clever in the way he defends, and he's very rarely seen going to ground in a desperate attempt to out and engage for the ball. So the majority of his time when in the game is spent judging the space between him and the opponent and positioning himself extremely well to go by and deal with nearby threats. Lacroix is an excellent defender. He combines his physical and technical attributes wisely to cut off opponents' attacks before they can gather momentum. So Lacroix is the type of defender that wants to impose himself on the forwards, making every moment awkward, suffocating them as they try and manipulate him with the ball. Much of his aggression, Lacroix complements it well with some ever-improving sense of awareness. This was a bit of an issue for him when he first transitioned into senior football, his failure to read passes coming forward, but it seems to have improved over the course of his career. Now he's far better at anticipating danger and covering for his teammates. As you can see from the heat maps alone, he covers a large distance in the defensive area than his teammate. He's beginning to show far greater decision making, whether to shift across and cover his defender, tuck in to get closer to his defensive partner, push up and engage and win the ball, drop back, track runners to support a teammate. His decision making and his defensive attributes are becoming far greater with experience. And this leads us nicely on to his ability to tackle dribblers. Again, this was a concern when he first broke into senior football. When he was isolated out wide, he did struggle. And that was shown in his numbers, winning only 50% of his dribblers tackled. But last season, that number significantly increased. He's now winning 74% of his one-on-one duels. So he's definitely learned the fundamentals in defending one-on-one situations. When left one-on-one against an opponent, he adopts a low body position, jockeys his opponent, and waits for the optimal time to make a step tackle. If an opponent pushes the ball either side of him, he's quick enough to react and adjust his body, and prefers using his longer strides to come back and poke away the ball or block out any attempt that the opponent makes it goal. He's extremely skilled at poking away possession when running back to his own goal, using his upper body strength to maneuver opponents off the ball. The tackling technique we're starting to see a lot from him is when he positions himself side on, wraps his leg around them, and approaches the ball from a side on base. This is extremely effective, especially when an opponent receives on the half turn. This is why it brings the best out of him when he's stepping out and being a proactive defender. However, I will like to point out that he's a lot more conservative around his own penalty box. Initially, he applies the same amount of pressure, so he's extremely proactive, but he does recognise that there's a bigger risk when making tackles, so he reduces his frequency and tackle effective in the air. He wins the vast majority of his aerial duels. This just ensures that the opponents can't get any flick-ons or reduces their ability to score from corners or crosses coming into the box. Lacroix averages 3.96 aerial duels per 90, and he's winning an incredible 2.46. He uses his strength to outmuscle opponents, and he's got a strong athletic leap. However, what I would like to see about his headers is him just controlling them a bit more, trying to find a teammate in possession. But we live in an era where defenders have to be good on the ball and press resistant. And Lacroix certainly has a relaxed and calming nature on the ball. Lacroix is a really assured passer and often immediately passes the ball where he sees space. This gives more speed and momentum to his team's overall attacks. The beauty about Lacroix is he's ball-footed, he's comfortable on either foot, and he's remarkably calm on the ball. This allows him to often read the play before it happens. Therefore, he doesn't find himself under intense pressure. He's comfortable playing first-time passes or just taking a touch and setting the ball off with his next one. One of his specialities is his switching of play. He often switches the ball to the opposite flank, hitting either the winger or the fullback. This is an extremely valuable asset to a team that wants to change a point of direction. Lacroix relishes every opportunity to play the ball forwards, but he's sensible in doing so, not forcing the ball, just waiting for the right opening. Lacroix does have a progressive nature as a centre-back, looking to play progressive balls into his forwards or his wingers down the right channel. And that's highlighted in these underlying numbers. At Wolfsburg last season, Lacroix finished second for passes into the final third with 91. This is more than what Mark Gahey managed to carve out at Crystal Palace. He also finished with more progressive passes in the Bundesliga last season than Mark Gahey did in the Premier League for Crystal Palace last season. This just goes to show that he's got an impressive passing range, and he's not just a reinsurance presence for midfielders to recycle possession. He wants to be progressive and break lines. He's happy to play vertical balls into midfield or into wider areas or chip longer passes in behind from deep. And he does this with accuracy. So given how often he steps out of defence to steal the ball, he's therefore the guy in possession at a point of a turnover. So when you've got a defender with his vision in possession, this will allow Crystal Palace to transition into attacks far greater and more effectively. So taking a further look into his passes, he averaged more passes from his own half than the opposition half in the Bundesliga last season. This shows that he's a player capable of breaking through the lines from his own half, and it just clearly underlines his technical ability on the ball. So he's in work opening and unlocking defences. So does the man come with any weaknesses? Well, he certainly does, and we touched upon one earlier that he has actually improved on. So I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt on that, and that is defending one-on-one situations in wider areas. At first, he was a lot more static, square on, and it easily allowed dribblers to bypass him. But having watched him a lot last season, he was a lot more light-footed, more energetic. And that just gave him a better reaction time and agility to change his line of direction at greater speed. Another would be his discipline when going out to engage with opponents. He's far too aggressive at times, and this allows teammates to bypass him easily with bounce passes or quick 1-2s. Because he's so aggressive and doesn't mind engaging high up the pitch, this leaves for greater spacing behind. He's got good athleticism, he's got good recovery speed, and you will notice that, but it doesn't always get back in time, and this is why you need a covering defender alongside him. Another slight improvement that he will need to work on, I think his positioning is good when he's defending crosses coming in, but he's too square on. This makes it easier for attackers to escape his attention and make runs on the blind side. If he just opens his body up more, you'll be a lot more aware of the attacker's movements, and this will allow him to match his runs and defend adequately. And finally, it's one of his abilities on the ball, and it is when pressured, he does struggle. He doesn't do well under an intense pressure, and this is why he favours the pass base before offloading it to a teammate. He's not so composed and confident when he's under intense pressure, which is surprising because he can use his big body to shield the ball. Work in tight areas is not great, and this is probably why. So there you go, guys. There is a scout report on Maxence Lacroix. So after that final point, we are done. So I just want to thank you all for your time watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and thank you very much for watching.